this channel, to start out, have fun, and tell a story. See, I always wanted to write a book, but we all know, that's easier said than done. But what the internet allows us to do now is tell our story without a bunch of publishing and all this stuff that it takes some more people to do. Because normal people like myself, missed out on a lot of education, so all we know is just pure, honest grit. Stuff that we got, what they say, out the mud. So, as I tell my story, and, for those ones that, decide to continue to come back and listen to my story or views on my content, I'm gonna have some, funny stuff up there. This stuff that I think interesting. I don't know, the past time. So I encourage y'all to come view it. And I want to get all my views and stuff up that I need in order to be able to go live and have interviews, with family members that played a big part in my life. And one thing about my channel, we only got one rule: you gotta be honest, pure honesty. We ain't got no time for no BS. We ain't got no time for no, whatever it is, that fake stuff. This is straight gutter. This is what this is. This is real as it gets. I'm gonna touch on a little bit tonight, about who I am, a little bit of my background, but mostly, about who I am, who my parents is, and stuff like that. And then I'll come back tomorrow. I like to do 2 parts, one in the morning and one in the evening. As I do this, I will, if my viewers will give me some input and some, not only encouragement, but some opinions of how long maybe I should make the videos, or, because it means something to me that y'all have time to view these stories, these sessions, because this is what, this is what this is about. This is about sharing my life story, my experiences, and, if I survived and, turn my mishaps and my, lessons into blessings and, stuff like that, I encourage everyone else that's going through situations that they could do the same and even better, because I just did what they call, I held it in the road. That's all I did. I ain't no superstar. By no means did I make a big impact on the streets or anybody's life or anything like this. I just ordinary dude that has a pretty interesting story, actually. A little more interesting than other people's lives that I've been in contact with over time in my life. Mine in no way is it boring. In no way is it boring, and it's gonna be pure honesty. Mostly everything I say, as far as the far-fetched stuff, you be able to look it up in, newspapers, old newspaper clippings and stuff like that from libraries or Google. The names I throw out there are real. You better search them. So yeah, this stuff is gonna be proven, and a lot of y'all might be like, man, ain't no way that boy telling the truth. Ain't no way. But that's why I'm doing this, because I think I got a actually pretty interesting story. All the way down to the chipped tooth I got. Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that too. I remember when that happened. Everything's got a meaning. So yeah, let's start off with this. 43. I was born in a little town called Georgetown, South Carolina, in which I'm not from Georgetown. I am originally from Pawleys Island, but we didn't have no hospital. We were a small island. And my early life, I remember being in two precise locations. One was James Island, South Carolina, and that was due to my Aunt Robin. She resided there. She was a nurse, and for the longest, she was just bigger than life to me. And don't get me wrong, I love her to death. But as you get older, you understand that people are actually humans. But take that away from her, she's an incredible person, human being, and played a big part of my life. I just want to thank her and give a shout out to her, send my love. She's still with us today, thank God. She is my mother's second oldest sister. My mother had 3 sisters and 1 brother. So there was, start from the youngest to the oldest. So the youngest was my Aunt Noel, and my Uncle Creighton, then my mama, and then my Aunt Robin, and then my Aunt Sherry. Pretty sure that's how it goes. All offsprings of such an amazing person in my granny that we call Granny Ray. Joanne Ray, she was absolutely the most beautiful and just special person I've ever encountered, I've ever met. And she really just, when she comes in contact with you, she just, the love she brings is just, it's unreal. Never saw her cry but one time, and I'll touch on that. But let me get back to my childhood. So I bounced around from James Island to Pawleys Island. Those are the 2 first places that I remember. I remember, early on in school, I can't remember what grade it was, but it was so such beginning that we used to walk to the bathroom. This is in James Island Elementary, and we used to brush our teeth. The teacher used to walk the whole class to the bathroom. We was out in trailers back then, and they had double wide trailers for the classrooms. And my cousin Laura, my Aunt Robin's youngest child, she's my age, a couple months younger, but she went there too. We was more like brothers and sisters than cousins. So I'm sure that they played a big part of why my mama was in James Island. Now I do remember not living with them much. I remember living with my mama, and she, had a boyfriend, and we lived with a doctor. I do remember that. And then my mama left, and all of a sudden I was with a friend of mine, which ended up being my first girlfriend, Sarah Richardson. She's on Facebook. People can look her up. Sarah, Ricardo, I think it is. I'll get a name for you, but we done reached out and made contact, and I'm gonna let her know about what I'm doing, and hopefully she'll be a part of this. Great person, and when I reached out, she was very receptive, and yeah, my very first girlfriend, and for a long time, she was large in life, let me tell you. But anyway, she got married and moved on. Man, yeah, I think I was like 5 or 6. But anyway, and remember, just out of the blue one day, I don't remember how long I stayed there, but out of the blue one day, you know, my mom pops up and takes me with her, and we go to Pawleys Island, and we stayed in Pawleys Island for pretty much the remainder of my youth. Of course, we bounced around different places, but for the most part, majority of my time was, you know, attached to Pawleys Island. You know, my mama she was a rambler. She was a here, there, everywhere type of person. She could not sit still. And I got her honest. So, with that being said, so, you know, she had a boyfriend at the time, and he actually ended up marrying my mother. And you know, I'm just touching on things. I'm giving y'all the just a whole picture, and I'll come back and fill in some, you know, gaps in the story and timeline. But she ended up marrying him, and so why I'm confused is because before then, my mama was with another guy, which is my little brother's father, and it's hard for me sometimes to, you know, without writing it down, to line up the years and stuff. So sometime or another, I had to actually stay with my mom a little bit, because I remember being around my mother's youngest son's father. Great guy, and I'll touch on him later too. But you know, my mom did have some great guys in her life. She has some damn losers too. Let me tell you, Lord, she has some straight losers. Like dude named Rooster. I'll never forget, man. You know, Mama had these, you know, I call them winners and heroes. And then next thing I know, I want to be with my mom, and she would introduce me to a dude named Rooster. That's about that big around, and got fluffy hair right here, but bald in the middle. And you know, I was a pretty, you know, I ain't gonna say bad younger, but I had no filter on my mouth. And I tell somebody quick, I don't like you, I'm gonna break all your cigarettes. And I have people like Rooster just chase me around the yard, and I'm just running, and he just chasing me, and you know, head going back and forth, the hair bouncing, he doing everything, going that shit. But you know, y'all have to just visualize this stuff, you know, because this is real. Like, you know, I'll have people come on and do interviews, and they will tell you themselves that, you know, these stories that I'm saying, they all real. But anyway, so my mama comes and picks me up and take me, and I never forget, I met, when my mom was with Mike, which is my little brother's dad. I was so, like, I was hurt, because like she had these different losers inside her life, but she had some winners, and when she gets a winner, you know, I knew my mama was going to eventually mess it up, but you know, I tried to enjoy it as long as it lasted. And Mike was one of the top up there of people that really taught me a lot about life, and very positive, and just a great guy, man, to this day. And the guy that she ended up marrying Jim. To this day, I call him stepdad. He great guy too. And he has a daughter, and she's my sister. Nothing less in my eyes. I love her to death. Which I got a few sisters. I told them that too. But so when I never forget when I come back to Pawleys Island, I came back. I remember I came back to school, and I guess I was in when I left the first time, it was like 4th grade, and then when I came back like 6th grade or something, I literally bounced around. I probably went to every school from Pawleys Island to Charleston. No cap, seriously. Maybe most of them a couple times, but anyway. And I'll never forget, I made some real tight bonds that I end up, to this day, I am attached to some of the people. One individual was, he became my son, godfather, and now I didn't meet him until later on down the line in Waltham, always in Pawleys Island. However, he probably has got to be one if not the biggest impact of my life that was outside of my family, my blood family, because he's family. But let's don't get it confused. He's definitely family. Blood don't make you family. So yes, he, to this day, I call him anytime and he's there, and vice versa. And I'll have him on probably a few times because we got so much stories, to share that, man, that's a book by itself, just me and him. And actually, if y'all notice, the dude that's in my profile picture on my channel, he's a buddy of mine that was in a group. We had a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like five people in that group. Now, I was part of different groups in different eras, but that group right there was one of there's 2 groups that I've been part of. That group was, the group that I ended up, as I got older and getting into more serious stuff and, finding myself as a man. That group is a big part of me finding myself and creating a bond to adulthood. Now, I was part of a group that was before that, when I was, a young whippersnapper, grasshopper, what you want to call it. And there was several of us, and one of those buddies of mine, he ended up dying when he was 10 years old. He got hit by a car, and that really devastated me for a while. Not just me, but a bunch of us boys around the neighborhood and stuff. All the boys was pallbearers, and we wore silk shirts and stuff like that. So, that's gonna be a whole chapter by itself. But anyway, so I'm jumping around, I know, but I'm trying to just give a broad view of things I'll be touching on. So I'm back at Pawleys Island, and I don't come back to Charleston until James Island actually is in Charleston, for people who don't know. So I come back to Charleston when I was 18. Between those times, now I've been to other places and all that, but these are the main focal points of my life that played the biggest part of my life. So I came back when I was 18. I end up um, really getting on a path that shaped the way my future would end up going. I say that because I was infatuated by money, and I grew up during the crack era. And the group that I came up with, we was all into, the street life, and most of our not really. Actually, my parents, I was the only parents. The rest of the parents wasn't into drugs like that, more or less drinking or whatever. But most of the people I hung with, as far as that older crowd, there people might drink, but it wasn't in the hard drugs like my family was. My mom, and she I love her to death, but she took a rough road, man. But that don't make her. She was a sweet woman, and I don't want to cast no bad vibe on her at all. My mama was a beautiful person on the inside, and like I said, her choices did not dictate or did not really reflect who she really was as a person. She had a great big heart. She never met a stranger. She would literally give anybody the shirt off her back, and she would go hungry before she let somebody else go hungry, honestly. So, but anyway, so Charleston, when I came back in 98 when I was 18, how it dictated is I got in with, I made a bond, a friendship with a fella, and to this day we was talking up to a month or two ago, and I'll touch on that later on. As of now, I don't have much rap for him. Like I said, this is a pure, honest channel, and I will air it out, and I will let it be known why. And I'm not sugarcoating my side, his side, no side. I'm telling like it is. But anyway, we was really tight. He's a black dude, and I end up, introducing him to his first white girl that he ever had relations with, and that was it was a joke for a long time that, he's great. He's a great guy, man. He really is. Like other things, sin and, just the lustful eye of sin really causes people to, treat other people and the people that they love and got bonds with a certain way that will cause them bonds to be broken. Lies and just deceitfulness, just greed. But anyway, so we end up, up until then, I still had this yearning to be the biggest drug dealer I could possibly be. I was infatuated by, the whole street life and the jewelry, and I was raised up around some really big, drug dealers. My mama actually was caught up into a federal indictment, which I was in a witness protection program, and that's the reason for some of these gaps. And I'll touch on that. That's probably a couple of days just to touch on this indictment my mom got caught up in, and my family got caught up in it, and my mom got pulled into this racketeering enterprise when she was like 16, and anyway, so of course I was born in it, my older brother born in it, my little brother born in it. I was the only one that went into the witness protection program with my mama. My family had certain people, distant family members, got married. They had a bounty on my mama's head, and also the FBI agent's head and SLED agent's head, and my distant relatives was he was a chief of police of a county, and I'll touch on him too. I got no anger, hostility to him. I love him to death. Like, again, his choices don't reflect who he is neither. He really has come. He done a lot of good in people's lives, and I'm not going to let the devil cause me to look at him other than with honor and dignity. And I'll explain that later. Y'all probably wonder, damn, he tried to kill your mom. How can you look at him in any kind of way but hatred? Hey, mama was wrong, and I stand on what's right, what's wrong. I can't say that, if somebody's mama did what my mama did, I wouldn't do the same thing. I mean, that's what it is. But anyway, thank God nothing ever transpired as far as people getting hurt. People did get time, went to prison for it. But either way, so I was born into the life of drug dealing, and I was around it my whole life. A lot of money. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to continue to, be a part of what I was, what I've seen my whole life. Nice cars, brand new Cadillacs, brand new Crown Vics when they came out, everything that money, buy bag phones, just, when I little baseball cards, Nintendos, man, we didn't want for nothing until the feds came and put a stop on all that. They came, and one day they changed my whole family life, turned it upside down. Yes, turned it upside down, literally. But anyway, so when they came out to lock up my family and my cousins and everybody, I didn't see it because I was somewhere else at the time, in Pawleys Island, and my family was in the town they was at, about 20 miles away, and my cousins tell me they looked like literally a funeral. They wondered who died, and till the feds started turning into yards and just being gentlemen in suits, picking up my family members. And my mama, her actions led up to why we had to go into that protection program. But anyway, I don't condone none of that. Just let you be known, mama, I don't condone people telling to get out of their mistakes and their bad decisions. I don't believe in putting more problems on somebody else just to make yours lighter. I don't believe that. I believe if you're all in it together, you all should go down the same together. But anyway, so like I said, that's a whole nother couple of days worth of stories. So yeah, where I'm at. I'm in Charleston. So I ended up, my buddy's from Philly, the one that I met when I came back to Charleston, and he knew some big cocaine dealers, and this is back in 98. So back in 98, it was still, the whole Colombians, just starting to turn over the whole cocaine pipeline to the Mexicans. So coke was really good quality. Coke was still pretty decent prices. The crack era was still booming. A lot of money to be made, and we jumped headfirst into it with the connections. And my hustle in the streets, we really teamed up and became a pretty good team. Made a lot of money, man. So in fact, if things didn't transpire like they did, after about a year or so of this hustling, we ended up getting knocked off. Coming on the interstate, and he ended up cooperating against my wishes. I was on bond at the time, on the run for attempted murder charge that my two co-defendants told me I got paperwork. I'll get all that. I'll show all that. I stood tall. There were two black dudes, a white dude, and the whole persona that white dude tell this bullshit. Out of my three co-defendants, one in a trafficking charge and two in a attempted murder charge, all three black dudes told on me. I just say that to say, just putting dirt on the white boy face. Yo, chill with that, man, because rats ain't got no color, they ain't got no age, they ain't got no my mama white, she ended up being a rat, not just her, she's a woman, so it's kind of expected, not an excuse, but expected. I learned from that not to put a woman in my organization. But anyway, I had cousins, they was head busters turned into rats. So with that being said, I stood tall in every situation that I came up. And even farther down the line, I ended up getting situations, and to this day, I got a certain name in the streets because I never folded. And I can stand on that. Nobody can ever come and say that I wrote any statements on them, that I wrote any statement, period. Did any cooperation? None. And, I'm not boasting, but, this is, everybody that say this gang stuff and all that, they full of it, because most people are rat. And that's facts. Watch verse 48, that's fact. But I produced my paperwork, and my name's clear. And what's funny about it is, on my attempted murder charge, to this day, I don't think the cats understand it. I got statements that the people on the block wrote on me. So yeah, I'm putting all that out there. So, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but this ain't what it's about. But it's about telling my life story. I'm not lying about nothing. Alright, with that being said, me and him ended up getting prison time. I got prison time. All I had to do was say it was his. The car was registered to him. I was a pastor. I was a white boy. And that white boys do get breaks in the court. Just judicial system, they sure do. The black man gets drugged. They do. They get the bad end of the stick. The facts is wrong. But the facts, again, I was never going to join the whole, playing my card, my race card, because, I'm staying solid, I'm being real, and I'm not going to put that on him. Even though he decided to do what he do, I had to do my time because I'm not writing no statement. I'm not cooperating at all. So we both do prison time. When we got out, I did forgive him because he didn't rat on me. However, he ratted on his homeboy is wrong. I never got back in the game with him. That part of our life was done. However, he was like a brother to me, man, and that's to this day why I'm hurt, man, because I some principles that I stood on, I turned my back on my own principles for this dude, man, and for him to just be so petty and, anyway, I'll share all that later with y'all, man. Anyway, so I ended up doing time, getting out. Before I went in, I met my baby mama. We ended up getting married, having a youngin'. When I got out, she stuck with me through my whole bid. I ended up doing about 4 years. Stuck with me the whole time. Like I said, we got out, got married, had a youngin', beautiful baby boy, 16 years old to this day. Of course, she hates me to this day. I did her terrible. But anyways, I regret it. So anyway, that's that. All that led to me right now. I'm engaged to a sister. She's got a 13-year-old little boy. You can't say that he's nothing but my youngin' because I love him to death. I treat him as he's mine, and in my eyes he is. So I have a boy, she has a boy, and we going through our situations, but we trying to, build a future together. So I'm in that right now with that. I'm gonna come back sometime tomorrow, probably around maybe breakfast, and do at least 15-20 minutes or something like that, and finish up this whole broad outlook on my life as a whole, and then I'll start out with the whole timeline thing, get more specific, and as I get the paperwork and stuff like that and tell a story, I'll implement that into it, because I'm backing everything up with truth, paperwork, and evidence. And I'll put some family members as interviews, and let them tell their side of what they saw my life as, how I treated them, and how they look at me, and all that. But anyway, this is going to be the life of the lost Lambino, and that title itself has a very, very deep meaning, and I will explain that as I go through this quote-unquote book, or my life story, let me say. Again, my life story is that of the lost Lambino. Alright, y'all have a good night, and see y'all tomorrow. It's I think it's after 12 o'clock, so it's, I think, the 18th of March now, 2023.